show where I help high-achieving women push their limits, dominate their mindset, and take action towards their goals. It's about to get real, so buckle up and brace for impact. My name is Ashleigh Mayfield, and I am the high-achieving woman. Hey everyone. So pumped to be back. Thank you so much for everybody who pays the fee. You tag, you share, you comment, you message me, you give me that feedback. I value it so much. And because of that, I wanted to start a new segment on my podcast, hashtag Ask Ashleigh. Now, this is something that I am also adopting on my Facebook. If you're more in business, direct sales, MLM, I'm going to give you that content there. But here on the podcast, I want to be able to cover all the topics that you guys know I'm passionate about. Belief, confidence, casting vision, leadership, self-awareness, everything that encompasses self-awareness. I want you to be that high-achieving woman. I want you to push the limits. I want you to be the best version of you. So hashtag Ask Ashleigh is going to be a new segment that we incorporate. And make sure that you're following me on Instagram because I am going to be putting out question boxes at least once a week. I'm going to do my best. And it's a place for you to be able to drop the questions that you want me to answer or you can just shoot me a message like, I love you. Okay. So Pamela asked me what my favorite confidence boosters are. And it was such a great question. First of all, thank you, Pamela, for asking that. But I want to be able to break it down a little bit. I know that I talk about confidence and belief a lot because it is a pillar in becoming the high achieving woman. You have to understand that your belief within yourself will make or break you. Your self-esteem is so imperative. You have to, and there's such a dichotomy there, ego will have you playing small. Arrogance will make you think you're better than you are, right? And so there's really this, I've been saying the word balance a lot lately and I just hate that word, but there's this balance to everything and confidence is so important. A lot of people don't play to their ultimate strengths or ultimate level and it's an inside job. It's their inability to believe in themselves. It's their inability to lift themselves up. It's that they're so consumed and so focused with telling themselves what they can't, what they won't, what they never will be, instead of going the other way. Do you find yourself there right now? Do you find yourself living in a world where you're looking at your next mountain, you're looking at your next goal, and you're telling yourself all the reasons why you shouldn't? Well, I've been there. Usually every level I get to, there's like a sense of that voice in the back of my head that I have to silence, I have to shut up, whatever, right? And so I think a lot of people think that, confidence just comes natural to me just because I'm loud, because I'm bold, because I'm, pretty brave and daring. And that's not true. It's something I've got to put on every single day. It could be very easy depending on my mood, depending on my lack of sleep. Oh my gosh, if I do not have enough sleep, I'm immediately not as confident as I am when I get a good night's rest. So a lot of that is the self-awareness, knowing what turns you on, knowing what triggers you. But specifically, what are some confidence boosters? And I really want to break this question down that Pamela asked because I think it's so important. If I want to call you higher, which is the premise of this entire podcast, right, is calling you higher, is making you realize that there is a high achieving woman on the inside of you, that there is a bad mamma jamma, and that you have a duty, responsibility, and obligation to walk in her. You got to be freaking confident, right? And you got to put that junk on. You got to sprinkle that junk like glitter everywhere, okay? But what are some things that you can immediately implement or just even some ways to think about confidence? And I've got a couple different things I want to share with you. The first one is really simple, but it's one that I guarantee 95% of you are struggling with. Do you do the things that you say you're going to do? Very simple. Do you do the things that you say you're going to do? If you struggle with time management, if you struggle with self-esteem, if you struggle with prioritization, then you probably don't. Are you someone that overcommits and underdelivers? Because you see, it's really easy for us to hold a standard and an expectation for other people, and we do not do that within ourselves. And when you reverse that order, when you make sure you're holding yourself to a standard of expectations, then everything else in your life flows so much easier. But here's the deal. If you had a friend who told you that they wanted to work out with you at 6 a.m. every single day, and you're like, mother trucker, I don't like waking up early, but because I have accountability, I'm going to do it. And so you go to the gym on Monday and you expect to meet your friend at 6 a.m., but they don't show up. They don't show up. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Not a big deal. Like everybody, everyone sleeps in from time to time. They didn't set the alarm, whatever. Mistakes happen, right? We've all said that. We've all given grace, right? Mistakes happen. Tuesday comes. You're there at 6 a.m. doing your thing. 6:07, they're not there. 6:12, they're not there. 6:17, they're not there. Wednesday comes, they're not there. What at some point, what would you start thinking? You'd start being like, well, this person's not reliable. This person's full of crap. This person isn't a person of their word. They're committing all these things. They're speaking out both ends. Like, you would start saying these things. The funny thing is how many of you say that about yourself though? Sometimes it's important we have that honest conversation with ourselves. If you want to build your confidence, one of the foolproof ways is you've got to become a high achieving woman. You've got to become a woman who is committed to doing the things she says she's going to do. You've got to stop letting that back door stay open. If you commit to something, you got to see that thing through long after the thought, mood, or emotion, long after the honeymoon phase has ended, right? We've got to make sure that we are staying true to our word. And a lot of times we're not. And that's why we don't have the confidence, because we don't trust ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves, right? It goes back to the whole honesty thing. Are you being honest with yourself? And so when you get to the point, and again, a lot of this, you're going to notice that to become the high achieving woman, there's so many different things that overlap, like time management overlaps, being honest with yourself overlaps. All of these things play into your confidence. Confidence and belief in yourself come after doing the work. You first have to prove yourself. You're never going to start ready. You're never going to start with your cup full. You're never going to start being confident, but you develop that confidence along the way, not just in the results, but in doing the work. And part of the work is staying committed to doing the thing you said you would do. Okay. Not overcommitting and underdelivering, not saying yes to everybody and all the things that don't fill you up, but staying committed to doing the things that you're going to do. And you cannot be the jack of all trades, master of none. You cannot commit to everybody all the time, all things, right? That's actually going to hurt you. Being able to be a woman of your word means that you have to know how to prioritize. You have to know how to manage your time. You've got to know how to not only have a calendar, but use the calendar. You have to learn how to say no. All of these things encompass for you to be able to stay committed to doing the things that you say you need to do. You have to sacrifice the good for the great. You've got to be left out. You know, it's all these little things that make up. So a lot of times when we show up to confidence, we're not like, I think a lot of times we wonder how we get there. Like, confidence is just some light switch that we turn on, and that's not how it works. Confidence is built. I mean, it's like a pyramid in your life. It's one brick at a time. It's one layer at a time. You know what I mean? And so when you start doing the things that you say you're going to do, and I'm not saying like you don't give yourself grace, you don't give yourself understanding, because there's going to be moments where you drop the ball. But too many women are living in a position where they're giving themselves grace and cutting themselves slack. Like, they're justifying their behavior, but they're holding other people accountable as is. And it's so funny, like, we have it backwards. We should be holding ourselves accountable as is and allowing other people to have grace because they might not be on our standard yet, right? But we often look at our mistakes and our shortcomings and we want to justify them because we hold ourselves accountable based on those intentions, right? And so when you stop doing that, and when you stay committed to doing the things that you say you're going to do, you are going to prove yourself. And I had to really stay committed when I did 75 hard. I really, some days don't even know how I accomplished that. It was just, honestly, you want to know how I accomplished it? Because I prioritized it. I said no to everything else. I said no to going to events. I said no to go to celebratory moments. I said no to traveling because I was like, how the heck am I going to drive 3 hours across state and do 2 workouts and get all, and like that 3-hour trip is going to turn into 6 because I like have the bladder of an infant and I went to the bathroom like 15 times a day drinking a gallon of water, but I prioritized it. So I take that back. I do know how I got it done. Right? I mean, it's kind of a blur now, but I did the thing that I said I was going to do and I made sure I prioritized that. And it wasn't easy. It was hard. But when you show up with that much effort and you really make sure you're putting your best foot forward, that is what you do to boost confidence. So if you want a confidence booster, you have to start doing the things you say you're going to do. Stop overcommitting and underdelivering. Stop saying yes to everybody and all things that you have no business doing, things that could be delegated, things that don't fill your cup. We got to do these things. Second thing is I think that confidence immediately, and these like points are not in any order. This could obviously be more of a priority than the first one that I just said, is you have to take a proactive approach to confidence. There are a lot of women that want to be high achieving, that they wait to deal with their confidence they're playing defense instead of offense. And so, the thing with confidence is you don't know you need it until you need it. And the same is true with like personal development. It's like an insurance policy. It's called an accident for a reason, right? You don't really need your insurance policy until you get in an accident. Well, you don't plan on an accident. That's why it's freaking called an accident. And a lot of times with confidence, we don't really know that we need it until like we need it. And if you have not been depositing, okay, if you have not been paying your bill every month for your insurance, when you get in an accident, you're not going to have a policy that you can tap into. The same is true with confidence. A lot of times we're not thinking proactively because, going back to the first point, many of us are overextended. Many of us are saying yes to everything because that's the world that we live in. We like to tell people they can have it all, and that is bullcrap. You cannot have it all. And if you think you can have it all, you cannot have it all at the same time. You cannot go on a shopping spree and want to pay off debt. You cannot eat all the donuts and want to lose weight. Being a high achiever requires sacrifice. It requires sacrifice. Stop believing this nonsense that people, heal your body. You can have it all. No, you can't. Ask any person who's actually accomplished something and not just attained, but sustained it. You cannot have it all. Okay. Success requires sacrifice. Being the best version of yourself requires sacrifice. You cannot take care of everybody else and prioritize yourself. You can't have it all. You can't, okay? But a lot of times we're waiting until we need confidence. And then we're like scrapping and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't feel ready. We should always be, I feel like I'm talking so fast. I'm so sorry. I'm like really hyped today, okay? I'm like all over the place. But we should be taking more of a proactive approach to confidence. Okay. We should always be pouring into ourselves. We should always be finding ways to develop that side of ourselves. And that stems from a place of self-love, stems from a place of self-esteem, stems from a place of self-development. Notice all of that starts with self because it starts with you. And so if you're wanting to boost your confidence, well, how are you doing that for you? Do you have a list of affirmations that you say? They're on my website. Make sure you sign up for my email list. Okay. I've got like 21 days of affirmations for high achieving women. Okay. Should be there somewhere. If it's not, then someone needs to message me and tell me because I don't maintain my website and I don't know what's going on there. Not even gonna lie. So, but one thing that I do is I make sure that I'm speaking life over myself. And it's not that I'm not speaking death because I'm just like you. I beat myself up as well, but I try to make sure that I overdo the abundance. I overdo the love. I overdo the affirmations. Another thing that I do to take a proactive approach is I keep screenshots of what people say about me. Now, don't get that twisted, Heffa. You've been talking nasty about me online. I take a screenshot. I see everything. Okay. My screenshots, I think I've got like almost 40,000 screenshots. I can use it anytime. But a lot of what I do is I've got a folder. And I talk about this in my High Achievers Bootcamp course is that I have a folder that I have made. Gosh, it's probably 4 years old now. And I don't fill it as much as I should. I've just picked it back up in the last few months as I've been walking through stuff. But anytime someone writes something about me or they tell me that I changed their life or they tell me that I, that they value my podcast or any like nice thing, I take screenshots of that and I save that. So when I'm having down days or I'm questioning my value, which is so freaking normal, okay? We all have those days. For me, it could be like easily once a week, right? Like I have my highs are highs and my lows are lows. But being able to keep a folder of that I can proactively go to, build myself back up, give myself that confidence boost that I need, that is huge. I think another thing is your proximity. What are you in proximity to? You really can control your environment. I talk about this so much. Proximity is power because having good friends and having like a good environment that you protect yourself, it allows you to protect yourself from yourself. Where if you do more self-destructive behavior or you have like negative attitude, your friends are going to keep you in check. Hopefully your environment is going to keep you in check. And I'm just in a position in my life where I can't keep people around me that like won't help me bounce back, right? That won't like put me back on the straight and narrow and that won't talk to me the way that I need to be spoken to. And I know that I can go to those people, but like so many of us, because we don't have a standard for ourselves, we put ourselves in situations and in surroundings with anybody and everybody because it makes us feel good, right? And we should really be prioritizing that confidence. Who makes you feel good about yourself? Who's gonna help you be honest with yourself when you're not honest with yourself? Who brings out the worst in you? Keep those people away from you. And a lot of times people are like, oh, well, it's my family. I can't be away from them because it'll hurt my mom's feelings. It'll hurt my cousin's feelings. You're prioritizing their feelings over what's like a foundational thing in your succeeding. You cannot perfect a habit until you have a habit. So the first thing for you to do is start prioritizing yourself and create that habit of self-esteem, create that habit of confidence, and then we can figure out how you can be around someone who's negative while keeping a positive attitude, right? It doesn't have to just be you're slicing someone out of your life, but it can be where you do take a season where you prioritize yourself so you can get your head on straight, okay? And so really making sure that I am taking that proactive approach, that is imperative. The last thing that I would say, and this is something that one of my mentors says, he always says, embrace the test days. You know, when it comes to anything in our life, especially with our confidence, our belief, our value, we're just going to have days that test us. We're going to have days where the naysayers and the haters come rolling out. We're going to have days where we're questioning ourselves, and you've got to embrace those days. A lot of women want to avoid those days or mitigate those days. And of course, that would be ideal, right? We mitigate. We have as less days of that as possible. But you're going to wake up some days and you're going to want to run over every freaking human that you know. You are just like, I've had those days. I just had one earlier, like a week or two ago. Man, I was just so angry. Like everything was irritating me. I was just like, instead of crying, which is my normal default when I'm frustrated, I was like furious. Like I was fuming. I was like, what in the hormone cycle is going on? I've never experienced this before. And it was pretty cool, not gonna lie. But being able to embrace that and not allow the test days to take us out. So many of us, we're either really impatient with ourselves. We hold ourselves to too high of a standard that's like impossible. And again, there's just a balance there. Some of us allow, because we're so emotional, we're more of that blue mindset, that blue demeanor, where we're very much led by our emotions. That's me. That's my second color in the color personality, is that like we just allow ourselves to blow where the wind goes. And so, you know, if we're not feeling good, it's immediately that we suck. Or if one person doesn't like us, it's everybody doesn't like us. And we amplify things in our mind and we exaggerate. And it's all of a sudden like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, right? And so embracing those test days, those days that you're going to have them, those days that make you feel like you're not doing enough, like you're not good enough, like there's more that you should be doing. You just have to embrace those moments and don't allow yourself to emotionally take yourself out. You've got to be able to have that intuitive nature or have the self-awareness to assess what's going on. Like, hey, I'm just doing the minimum for today and then I'm checking out because I'm about to take myself out of the game. You know, like you still have to show up, but you don't have to go above and beyond every day. And I think, you know, how do you handle the resistance? How do you handle the tension? How do you handle the pushback that life is going to give you? That is going to help you boost your confidence, because when you learn how to handle those little things, it's always the potholes in the road that take people out. It's always the detour. You know what I mean? Like life isn't always a detour, but that one, it's always the traffic jam. Like it's those little things in life typically that take people out. When you learn how to handle those effectively for what's best for you, you are immediately going to elevate in your confidence, because you're going to know how to not just have self-awareness, but how to manage yourself. Leading yourself and managing yourself are two different games, just like with other people. Leadership and management are so important in business, in life, when it comes to other people. You have to lead your household. You also have to manage your household. And they're just two different beasts, right? And it's so funny because years ago, it was like management was huge. Then we went through a season where leadership was better than management. And now we're cycling back around where they're both different entities. You know, we need the systems and we need the accountability, and we also need the love and the relationships and all that stuff. So, you know, when a lot of times we are the self-destructing nature to our future, a lot of times it's us. We're holding ourselves back because we're not staying committed, because we allow one negative thing to completely derail us, or we self-destruct our confidence because the pressure we put on ourselves. There's too high of expectation. There's too high of accountability. There's too high of like these insatiable demands that we put on ourselves. And it's like, really, you're just holding yourself to this perfectionistic standard that is never going to happen. So those are kind of some of the things that I do. I mean, you got to do the things you say you're going to do. You got to have a proactive approach to confidence, and you've got to embrace those test days and how you handle the resistance. These are all things that matter when it comes to confidence. And of course, I mean, the biggest thing I'm going to say, Heffa, like, you make sure you subscribed, okay? Subscribe to this podcast. Leave me a 5-star review. Who do you know you need to share this with? I always say on my Facebook Lives, like, comment, share, do your job and pay in the fee. And you guys always do such a good job. Thank you so much. But make sure that you share this with someone that you want to see them boost their confidence. It's time that they get themselves in the driver's seat. It's time that they build that self-love, build that self-esteem. That way they truly can be the high-achieving woman that they know they are. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.